presume that I got this thing fired up, and I apologize for. I don't apologize, but Bobby's out with his daughter today, so I said that I would take care of this. And the timing of this is a little awkward because it's 4:15, so we have a full 2 hours and 45 minutes to lock. So it is very possible, dare I say, probable that news could come out which could impact the slate. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to come back on once or if that happens. So what I am going to do is, I mean, honestly, I'm just going to do what I do. And we're going to go through the different positions, but also we're going to talk about how I build my lineups and how I tweak and how I'm going to adjust things based on today's slate. And the other thing I got going on, I have some other stuff going on. Maybe you could troll a little bit too. Like I'm sweating some horse racing stuff also. So we'll if that gets kind of interesting, we will get to that. What's up, K9? So again, so we're really getting a full glimpse of the usual of the full DGen Saturday of what I'm up to. So again, we're gonna build my lineups. We're also gonna sweat a little bit of horse racing maybe if it comes up. As a matter of fact, in 8 minutes, I have to remember to sweat. There's a race over at Tampa Bay Downs that we're gonna poke our head into. But until that time, let's talk about the NBA for today. It's a 5-game slate. Yeah, it's a 5-game slate, and interestingly, I feel a little more confident of my approach on FanDuel than DraftKings, and we're going to talk about how I will change my lineup construction based on that. So here's what I have up here. So right here is the FanDuel slate. Right here is the DraftKings slate. Right here, all right, and then I'll go back and forth with my lineups. And here is SaberSim, which I use to kind of build especially my MME lineups. I'm going to show you how I do that also. And then this is my horse racing stuff. And then what we also are going to put in here is, this is something I really can't get that much into, but this is kind of like my projection grid, sort of. And I have it for kind of all sports, and maybe one of these days I'll go over all this stuff. But so we're going to go back and forth between DraftKings, which is going to be this, and then FanDuel, which is going to be this. And we're going to go through all these guys, and well, you'll see how I rank them and how I go about making my decisions of how I'm going to approach things. So, like, for example, like FanDuel looks to me, I don't want to say straightforward. So this is what I do. I rank these guys first by this thing I call H, right, which is kind of a combination of points per dollar and then give credit for people that have, higher raw projections. And then because FanDuel is a, position by position slate, I do break it down again by column C by position. So what I have here is I have these guys ranked by position based on, this H column. Then we're going to also talk about how to rank them by a point per dollar, which is in column K. But you'll see, like, for example, the way I look at the slate, you'll see like Drummond and Embiid are both very, very similar. Okay. So the way I'm looking at it is, boy, it would be nice if either of these were lower owned the other one, then I would plug them in. But you see, I have these ownership rankings here. And I do see that actually Drummond is slightly higher owned from a projection basis than Embiid. I have Drummond at about 25% ownership as opposed to Embiid, which is 20. But yet he's projected a little bit higher too. And you'll find that in basketball, that's really just the way it goes. It's really difficult to find really well projected guys that are not owned, because that's just the way the NBA is. But then I look down here a little bit, and then I see Vooch and Mitchell Robinson both at, well, they don't project as well, and as a result, they're lower owned. But I think Vooch is kind of close enough where I could include him maybe in a couple of lineups where I don't have Embiid and Drummond, right? So I guess I should probably rewind here. So when it comes to FanDuel for today, okay, what I'm doing is I'm going out, so I'm probably not going to go MMEing. I'm probably only going to play like 6 or 7 lineups. And fortunately, I can do that because I don't really have that big of a player pool for who I want to play each position. So like for I said, I mean, I like Drummond and Embiid the most, so I make sure to have Drummond and Embiid. And then the next guy I have is Vooch, and that basically takes care of that entire position. So I don't really need to go 10 centers deep or anything like that, which of course makes it much easier to play this way. And it makes it not quite as necessary to go play MME and play all these wild plays. So now we got to scroll down to this next position. Again, I just do it this way just because they do it alphabetically. And at the power forward position, you'll see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys all kind of ranked the same, right? And not surprisingly, they're all kind of similarly owned. And to review, you have Collins, Sabonis, Siakam, Randall, and Zion. And to break the tie, if I had to, like you see that Siakam is probably lower owned the other one. So Siakam is a pretty good play. The other thing to think about is that which of these guys are kind of just non-upside plays. They're just kind of median plays. And again, I think they all have kind of good upside plays. So I don't think that's any tiebreaker there. So what I have to do is between all 5 of these guys, you know, I don't have to play them all, but I do notice that I don't have Siakam, I think, in any of these FanDuel lineups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and just double check this. See, I have Randall. Oh, I do have Siakam in one. Perfect. So I have exposure to all the power forwards that I rank the highest, okay, which is good. Then we go down to point guard. And again, if I'm doing it a different way than most people do, between start with point guard and move up, it's just because I do them alphabetically. And you'll see here that at point guard, so there are 2 guys that kind of stand out, and that's Trey and Ben Simmons. But you'll see the ownership is really, really high on Trae Young relative to Simmons. So I think Simmons is probably, all things being equal, kind of a better play. And also, I personally don't like, if I could avoid it, playing guys or especially shooters off of back-to-backs. And Trae Young was in a real high-paced game last night. So I prefer, I think, on FanDuel to play Ben Simmons. And we're going to get back to DraftKings in a minute, okay? We're going to do this for both sides. So I see Simmons is probably my favorite play here, given ownership. But then you go down, you see Lowry and Brogdon. They are, you know, between those 3 and Ball, they make that next tier. And ownership, you get a really decent-sized drop. So I want to make sure that I have Lonzo, Brogdon, and Lowry. I'm pretty sure that I do. Let me just go back and see. Yep, I have Brogdon. I have boy, I didn't get to Lowry really, so maybe I should get to another Lowry. And the other guys I have in my lineup here are more kind of point per dollar plays. Like you get down to Fultz and Payton, okay? So I think Fultz and Payton are good guys to kind of fill in also, all right? We're going to get to the full game stacks in a minute. So again, I'm doing FanDuel, so I'm only playing like 5 or 6 lineups, so I'm not really focused too much on the stacking aspect of it. So we did point guard, and now we're going to go to shooting to small forward. And again, you'll see that I have 3 guys ranked really close to one another at the top, and that's Ingram, Larry Nance. Yeah, I'm getting there, Eric, at small forward. And from an ownership perspective, it seems as though Ingram is the lowest owned. So I have to go back into FanDuel and get some of that. I have too much of these other guys. So what I have to do is probably get up to Ingram in one of these lineups. So I see I have Barrett in 80% of these. So I think what I'm going to do is probably let's take not this one. We'll take this one and we'll edit this one out and we'll get Ingram in over here. Again, I have too much Barrett, so we're going to put Ingram in over here. And then what we're going to do is now we're going to probably have to drop down, which is fine. And maybe this could be something like the Mitch Robinson one. Remember I mentioned that maybe I should get at least one lineup with Mitch Robinson. And then what I can do is then I can move up maybe at one of these point guard positions. I can get back up to Brogdon over here, which I can do rather easily. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll get back up to Brogdon over here. So that's the way I kind of use these projections to kind of like help rebuild the lineups. Okay, so now let's go back into it and let's get back and let's go to having done small forward, we're going to go to shooting guard. So shooting guard's kind of a war. Like you see, the way I rank them at least, you get like 4 or 5 guys all kind of tied here. So what you probably don't want to do is take the real high-owned Sexton, if you can avoid it, and maybe get down to Shea or maybe Oladipo even. So that's what I have to do next. I have to get some Sexton out and replace him, even though he's ranked a little better, replace him with some Shea or Oladipo. Now you see Bledsoe's a pretty good point per dollar play also. So what do? We got to replace Shea and Oladipo with Sexton. So let's go back in here. And how much Sexton do we even have? I don't even think we have that much Sexton anyway. Yeah, so it's kind of in one lineup. That's totally fine. But you know what? From the perspective of ownership, and just to kind of show you, let's take him out, and we'll put in we say Shea or Oladipo. What we could do is we could put Oladipo in here, and then get maybe a little less of this, right? Maybe get a little less of Brogdon. Move down till this one we can go back to Lonzo or something like that. Maybe do something like that. So that is basically the extent of the shooting guard. Again, this is on FanDuel. We'll get to DraftKings in a minute. It's a little harder. So where are we at? So we went through kind of position by position. Now I like to give kind of a real overview. You know, Drummond would be my best play overall. Just want to make sure I at least have a decent amount of this. Problem is now I don't have any Sexton whatsoever. So you're saying, all right, well, we'll get there. So now the next thing I'll do is I want to rank these guys for point per dollar also. You'll see Sexton, Exum rates to be a really, really strong play. I don't have him. It's the way it's going to be. But Mitchell Robinson, Eric Bledsoe, Sexton again, Collins, these guys are all appearing in the FanDuel lineups, so that makes sense. All right, so let's talk about that, Eric. So let's talk about DraftKings, because on DraftKings, I'm finding that it's really difficult to get who I want, okay? So let's just go through this, and we'll do game by game, but the first thing I want to do is just get an overview of this overall kind of slate, and then we will go game by game. So like overall, you'll see very similarly, Drummond rates to be the best play on the board. And yeah, I mean, he's high owned, but that doesn't mean you can't use him, right? I mean, you just got to make sure to not be that chalky everywhere else. Next guy I kind of look at who might be low owned, and unsurprisingly, it's at the same position, is going to be Vooch. And then you get down to Simmons, who might be a strong play also. And the problem is when you go and you try to put lineups in, there's just so little value here that your lineups start to look really, really ugly. Okay, so let's go and do this for a second. First, let's go through game by game and let's talk about these guys. So what I'll do, we will go game by game, but again, I like to refer to my sheet here, and we'll rank the games this way. Okay. So the first game we'll talk about, let's just go team by team. So Atlanta. So who was Atlanta playing? We have Atlanta playing Cleveland. Let's do that one first because you mentioned stacking that game. So you'll see that, especially when you look at stacking, you see the top 3 rated guys from a value metric are Young, Capella, and Collins. And the good thing is that you can play Young with one of these guys because they kind of run pick and roll together. And after that, there's a pretty big drop down. So there's not a lot of value on that Atlanta side. The Cleveland side, yes, Sexton is pretty good along with Drummond, Nance, Garland. You mentioned Garland before. To answer your question, just 1v1, where Sexton projects a little bit better, it looks, well, you know what? They're going to be very similarly owned. I have to say that I think it's kind of a draw, Eric. I would really regard them. I would really flip a coin between those two. I don't think that you can really distinguish between them. All right, let's go back to the game. So New York, Indiana. So let's go look at that one. I guess we'll look at Indiana first. So Indiana, the good thing is you have 4 guys that all kind of rank kind of well together. So if you want to play a couple of these dudes like Brogdon, Oladipo, Turner, like two of them together, you can do that. And then on the Knicks side, and again, I like playing the Knicks because I know that their rotation is going to be somewhat tight. You got Randall, but then on DK, like there's such a drop. It's like all these other guys. Like on FanDuel, it's okay. You could play like Barrett and Peyton, but on DraftKings, they really suck. See, here's the thing, Eric. You talk about Sexton as a higher usage. All that is really factored in, right, to the projections already. So I don't want to be the person to say, boy, oh boy, I love Sexton because he projects well and he also has high real usage. You know what I mean? That's why he projects well. You know, or to say, well, I like Sexton because he has high usage and he projects well and he's in a good matchup. Now, that's all kind of factored in. I don't want to double count that. So Indiana, New York doesn't look to be particularly thrilling from a stacking perspective. Let's look at OKC or Orlando next. Again, there's 5 games, so I don't want to just overlook it. OKC is a train wreck. I mean, aside from Shea, who's a tremendous play, boy, Shea is really good play. Maybe I really got to get more of him. So I like Shea a lot here, and I really don't like anybody else from Oklahoma City. They look really, really bad on DraftKings. On Orlando, a little better, but again, aside from Vooch, everybody sucks. Yeah, you were right, Eric. Whoever's the one that said there was like no value today, it's really awful. I mean, it's really, really bad. So let's do the next one. So Charlotte, Philly, and then we're going to get back to lineup construction in a second. So Charlotte, Philly, again, we got to do the same thing and see if, nope, you just got, well, if you want to play Devontae Graham and Gordon Hayward together, that's just okay. I mean, again, it's really nothing special. And then on the Philly side, Embiid's incredibly good. Ben Simmons is incredibly good. And Harris is incredibly good. So it doesn't look like – it really looks like going to be a stock picker's market. You know, I don't think it's going to be a slate where you can game stack because there's so little value and ways to stack these things efficiently. But let's look at Toronto, New Orleans, and let's just see what grades out over here. New Orleans, yeah. I mean, you want to play Ingram and Zion, you're just spending a lot to do it. I think Lonzo is a pretty good play. I think on both sites. I think Lonzo is not bad, but again, it's nothing. He's only 10% on DraftKings. Maybe that's the idea, Eric. Maybe the New Orleans game. So who does New Orleans play? New Orleans plays Toronto, right? So you play those guys on New Orleans like Ball and maybe Zion or something. Then let's see if you play Norman Powell. Is he any good? Well, you could play Siakam at 10. Ooh, these guys are really low owned. So you could play Lowry, Van Vliet, Siakam at under 10%. I think if you're asking me the game to stack, that's what I think you should do. I mean, that's what I think you should do. I think you should stack the Toronto game. I think you should play Lowry, Siakam, Van Vliet, those types of guys, and run back with Ball and one of these two, Zion and Ingram. Or you could play a really gross Bledsoe on FanDuel. Bledsoe's like 4,800 on FanDuel. So that's pretty good. So when you're coming to stacking, I think that's what I would do. So this is the way I do things. So I have all these projections in here. So if I'm having trouble building these like single lineups, which I'm having trouble doing, what I do is I plug all this crap into this SaberSim thing, which I went over before. So here it is. I go to SaberSim and I go to I got to upload this stuff, so I got to delete these builds. So we're going to upload, and you can do this with any sets of projections you want into SaberSim. And then what you do is you upload these, and then it builds lineups for you. So the question is what do your builds look like? So let me build, for example, a 20 max. We'll build 20 lineups in 20 max. I just want to show you what kind of lineups you get based on a slate with very little value. It's gonna look like really, really gross. Like I promise you're probably gonna end up with, before I even look at this, probably a bunch of TJ McConnell, probably a bunch of Dante Exum. Who else? You might get that guy, that other rookie, that Maladon or something like that. That's what ends up happening when you try to build lineups with no value. So the question is going to be is what to do with that. As we're watching this build, it'll take like another 30 seconds. You said that I like Robinson after Embiid and Drummond. This is what I like on FanDuel. Like, I like Embiid and Drummond, and then I think my next favorite, again, it depends on what you want to pay, right, with the rest of your lineup construction. But I think that Vooch is actually a really, really good low-owned play as well. But I think Mitch Robinson is certainly in that top 4. Okay, so see, this is what's happening. Like Sabres usually doesn't take like longer than 10 seconds to build these 20 lineups, but I can already feel it. I feel it struggling because I'm telling you, as Eric, you pointed out like a long time ago in this chat, there's very, very little value on here. So what's happening is that it's calculating simulations with dudes like Maladon and Exum and guys without like a lot of samples. So we're going to see what it comes up with in a second. Sabonis, yeah, I like Sabonis, but he's expensive, man. He projects well enough. I don't know exactly what kind of tournament winning upside he might have from there. So here we go. So this is what you get. You get Dante Exum. As a matter of fact, you get 50% Theo Maladon. You get, it's actually not as gross as you think. You get 35% Hart. You get 50% Bismack Biyombo. So and then you get JaVale McGee, like a decent amount. So it's rough, okay? And then like what I'll do also, so this is kind of fun. Let's say I just want to build like even a single entry lineup just to kind of see even what like kind of a conservative looking lineup would look like. I'm telling you, you're not going to be particularly impressed. So what I'm gonna probably end up doing is I'm probably going to take out my biggest buy-in here, and I'm going to allocate that money to these kind of seemingly random MME type builds because I'm so unconfident with the whatchamacallit, with the single entry types. Like here are the single entry types. Like this one would gives you McConnell, Maladon, and Exum, right? And this other one, McCollum, Maladon, and Exum. And I just don't want to do it. Okay. Well, the thing is, Eric, I don't know if you've ever seen my video on SaberSim. SaberSim is a really, really cool thing because what it does is it actually focuses on ownership as a function of projections. Like what I'm doing right now, like I'm ranking these by this thing called Saber Score. If I changed it to by projection score, you'll see that the lineups kind of change. Like you get a totally different type of build when you rate them by pure projection as opposed to when you rate them by something like Saber Score, because Saber Score kind of takes into account ownership. So it's I love this. I like using this for MME builds because when I hand build my like 50, if I ever hand build like 50 lineups, I end up getting really biased, and I don't really account for kind of that shit can happen type thing, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So let's look, for example, at my current FanDuel builds. I mean, my DraftKings, and you could translate this to whatever you want. Ooh, did I miss my race? Oh, you didn't let me do this, so I missed my race on Tampa. So we needed the 7. Let's see if it won. Let's see if the 7 won. Hey, look at that. Champion. Got him. Excellent. Very nice. So to finish off the Tampa, we're going to need the 1, 2, 3, or 6 for the pick 4, which will save the day. I like it. All right. So what I have right here, Eric, is I have these builds, and I have this 555, and like unless I can get this the way I want, I'm probably just gonna scrap it. Okay, so let's see if I can make this work. All right, you know what I want to do? Let's do what I said I was going to do. Let's try to stack that Toronto-New Orleans game and see what happens. So we'll do it by hand. We're gonna put in Lonzo at point guard. And then let's see, what else did I say? Let's go back to it, and we'll get back to DraftKings. And we were looking, well, up Toronto. So Toronto, it was going to be Lowry and Siakam would be excellent. So let's do that. Let's see if we can afford it. So let's go Lowry and Siakam. And yeah, I'm with you. I much prefer to hand built. But sometimes it just, I don't know. Sometimes when you're playing a lot of lineups, you like to have the thing help you out. All right, so let's just start with this. Let's start with Lonzo and Siakam, which is what I said. Let me again make sure that it's like that ownership thing that I want. Yeah, Lowry 10%, Siakam 10%. Very good. And then we're going to run it back with so it was Lowry and Bledsoe. So we got to put them both in. So let's put in the other guard position. Well, we're going to put Lowry in. Okay, so we have Lowry, Siakam. Now we're going to pick one of, yeah, I don't want to do both Zion and Ingram. I think that might be asking for trouble. But what we could do, we could build twice, right? And let's just see how it looks. First of all, let's see who we like as the better play. Ooh, maybe we want to play Bledsoe as a real cheap option there. We'll talk about that. It does seem as though Zion and Ingram are very similar with respect to upside. The only thing that's different is Ingram is small forward eligible. So why don't we put in? I don't know. Let's put in Ingram. So we have this stack available, right? So we have Ingram and Ball, which makes sense. We have Lowry and Siakam, which makes sense. Now, how do we spend $47.50 a man when there's not that much value, right? That's what makes this really hard. Like one thing you could do, see, if he were cheaper, we could go and play somebody like Bledsoe, but even at 5,700. So when I do, even when I do my hand building stuff, I want to make it 47.50. So what I'll do is I'll go back to my DraftKings teams. You could use RotoGrinders or whatever it is. I just happen to have done a lot of work on this. Is I'll just rank all these guys by straight out point per dollar, right? And see what I can do. So it looks like I'm going to have to try some of these kind of gross looking like value plays like Exum, McCollum, to make this work, which makes it really, really difficult. So you guys want to help me? You want to pick one? So between Exum and McCollum, they're both going to be 15%, right? You know what we'll do? We'll do one with one and do one with the other. So this one we'll flip a coin and we'll take Exum, okay? The problem is they're taking up another guard spot, right? Oh, this is going to get really, really annoying, isn't it? So let's see. Let's see. Who was Exum is going to be 3,600. We'll put him over here. Oof. So how are we going to do this? So now he can't even play McCollum if we wanted to. So let's now again go through points per dollar and see who else we like that kind of fits in the rest of these spots. At center, we could play Capella at 5,200. Okay. So let's see what happens when we put him in. We put Capella in at 5,200. You're going to be able to get this done. So now we got 5,100 for shooting guard and any forward. So let's see if any of our guys rank well enough where I can make this work. You could play this Theo Maledon guy and then get someone decent, right? Ooh, and then you could play maybe Oladipo. Let's take a look. Let's see what Maledon looks like over here. Maledon over here. And then you could play Oladipo over here. So if you wanted to stack, so that's a very interesting question. So Capella, is he off his minutes restriction? Well, he played 30, but he played 30 yesterday. Do I want to play Capella in a back-to-back after he played 30 minutes? I mean, I don't know. I think that's probably asking for it. So what else can you do? You know what you probably do? Can one of these guys be your center? Can Siakam play center? No. So that would have been actually really nice. Who else can you play at center? We're not going to be able to play Drummond. He's going to be too expensive. So I think Capella is the only way. Oh, you know what you could do? I think we answered our question. You could play you could play Zion at center, and this way you don't play Ingram, and instead you don't have to worry about that center position anymore because you could play Zion, and I'm sure you can get a decent small forward for 5,800, right? So let's just take a look over here again and see what kind of small forward you can get for 5,800. You really can't get one. You could put Oladipo in at the small forward. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's see what we can do. We put Oladipo in at the small forward. Now we just need any old forward at 5,800. Okay. Can you do any old forward at 5,800? You could play Bogdan Bogdanovic. Ooh, I think this is the answer. So what we can do is we could add a third Pelican or a third, I was going to say Blue Jay, or both. So you could play either Bledsoe or Anunoby. So just for the hell of it, let me go and see who of them are like the most between Anunoby and Bledsoe. Let's see. It's going to be very interesting. Neither of them are that great, but the thing is that they fit what we're trying to do. Interestingly, so Bledsoe, 95, and then Anunoby is like a 101. Yeah, so it's probably going to be Anunoby. You like Bledsoe? All right, you know what? So we'll put in Bledsoe. We're going to do both anyway. So for now, we're going to put in Bledsoe. Oh no, he's a guard. Solves that problem. So we're going to put in Anunoby. This lineup looks awful. It certainly does. It certainly does, and that's what makes it beautiful. All right. So as you see, as I mentioned, hand building is going to be rough to come up with like a really good high buy-in lineup. So maybe this is a better idea to kind of like let an optimizer spits out. Yeah, you know what, Eric? You hit the nail right on the head. It is probably just an awful slate. So let's see what I can do. So yeah, how about Van Fleet? How about Van Fleet? Let's go back into this thing again. Actually, let's go back. We'll do a different one. Okay, let's change. Let's go back into contests, and let's change one of these 55s. So yeah, so let's start. Let's clear the field. So instead of that, let's put in Van Fleet at shooting guard. He's a little cheaper. I presume he's a little cheaper than Lowry. So I presume not much, but he is. And then again, let's put in Lonzo because I'm a glutton for punishment. And this time we're going to put Ingram in. Okay. So this time also we're not going to put Anunoby. We're going to try to get in Bledsoe as that third guy in the stack. So let's put in Bledsoe. Bledsoe could be point guard. So let's put, well, Eric, you see me doing it right here. Am I not game stacking? I mean, what else can you do? Let's freaking go. We're doing this right now. Of course we're game stacking. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. So this one, we got 2 New Orleans, and we got 3 New Orleans, and we have Van Fleet, and then we're going to go back to Siakam. So let's go to Siakam right over here. And now what are we left with? Once again, we're stuck with this 4,500 at these positions. I think we're going to be forced to do this with a kind of cheap center. And the problem is that there's really no great center that projects that well on a point per dollar basis aside from these. You know, you want to play Nerlens Noel? Would that be gross? You know what you could do? You could play Mitchell Robinson. That's what you could do. Okay. Hey, what's up, believer? Oh man. Okay, so let's put. Wait, Baines is starting in that Toronto game. Okay, solves this problem. Oh, look at this. Baines, Siakam, Van Fleet, Lonzo, Ingram, Bledsoe, and let's go. Oh, this is so now we need a forward and a utility, and now we're on to something. Okay. Okay. Just any old forward and any old utility. Hold on, we're gonna sort by point per dollar. We're gonna go. No, actually, we're not gonna do it that way. We're gonna sort by point per dollar. And what do we need? We need a forward and a utility totaling 9,400. So we're gonna have to use one of these, Exum, McConnell, or whatever, and then one of these expensive guys. So who is going to be the best forward? So if we use 3,500, for example, let's put Exum in for example over here. Now we got 5,800 we could use, and then we're back to some decent options. You could use you could go to Aaron Gordon if you want. That would be interesting. Aaron Gordon wouldn't be that bad. So if you put Aaron Gordon in over here, only 5,600. Yeah, I'm with you, Todd. I know. It's brutal, right? It's brutal. That's why it's a tough slate, man. We're just showing you what's possible here. So we're gonna update this. We're gonna put this in. Yeah, it is definitely not a really good stacking slate, I have to say. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that 555 for a second. I should listen to you, Todd. I mean, you're right. That's a terrible game to stack, but it seems to work, doesn't it? So let's go back to Baines instead. So if we did this, if we went Lowry, Siakam, Baines, yeah, I maybe you're right. And I did. That's why I put Zion in the other one. So if you did this, now you don't even have to play this. Now you don't even have to play this crap, right? Now you don't even have to play that Maladon guy over there. Now I can go play stuff like you play Bogdan. Oh, now I can do this. Now I can play my this over here, and then, oh my God, can we get away with this? There's no way you can get away with this, right? Not playing any of those cheap guys. Osman, Herder. Who said Herder? You're rolling with Herder at 4,500. You know what? That's good enough for me. Yeah. So when you hand build, this is what you do. And honestly, Todd, it's exactly what you have to think about when you hand build. Is you're like you fill this out, then you're like, what the hell? How can you stack it without Zion? You know what I mean? And that's actually the way I kind of think about it. You know what I mean? I start with the projections, and then when you hand build, you end up with like all these kind of like second guessing things. Now, excuse me, guys, you got to just bear with me for a second because we have some issues here. We have to get this. You have to get this home at Tampa. This is something you never see on the Bobby Sweat. Okay, so we need. We're good here. We need to get either the 1, 2, 3, or 6. So we should be. I say we should be okay. But we got a 28-1, a 6-1, a cheap 3-2, and the Magic had her at 14-1. So we're gonna sweat this. So Todd, you're saying you could have fit Zion in with that lineup and go with OG. Yeah. So we're gonna try that. Now again, can we do this both and we get this going? No, I gotta remember to go back to it. So let me go back to this was it the 555? No, let's go back to one with Zion in it. I had one with Zion, didn't I? If that was this one here. No, I didn't. Yeah, you're right. I didn't put Zion in that one. Okay, so let's we're gonna go back to that. Let me just make sure that we don't miss the horse racing. I got time. All right. So and I wonder if I get the copyright violation on this one. So if we do, yeah, but the thing is, isn't Aaron Baines like a really good play?
The horses are now approaching the starting gate.
Isn't Zion a really good play? I mean, you could do this, I suppose, and then you could put Herder in the over here, and then you could almost get you can almost get Baines anyway in here, right? You did this. You only have to save 900 with this build. You tell me I can't find a $3,600. I want to make Todd happy here. Oh, you want to Uber stack and go with JJ Redick? A fourth? No, you can't do a fourth New Orleans guy, right? No, I don't think it's gonna work, man. Shoot.
Number 3,000.
He is awful, man, isn't he? But he's all right. So let's do this. Let's think. You're right. Let's think. He is awful. We're gonna take Bledsoe out. We're gonna play Bledsoe out. So now we got under Lowry, which is good. Oh, now we should be able to be in good shape here, right? Go back to your Herder. Whoever was giving me Herder, got to give him his love.
Continuing to move forward.
And then we run into issues again.
2 more to go.
Got Terrence Ross again. Oh, we're getting close.
And from the outside.
We're getting close. If I make this Van Vliet, we're almost there.
Barn of Anthony Granite.
We're almost there. We almost got this.
And Grace restless at the gate.
You like Hart instead of Bledsoe? Is he better?
Backs away slightly. And now she's in.
Oh. Hold on, we got some much more important things going on. Okay. So we're rooting for the 1, 2, 3, 6. I don't know if you hear this, but so it's a full lap around.
Also away with a tough flight, and the last horse away is the favorite, Lucy's Town. To the clubhouse turn they go.
Now again, we got 2 hours, so I'm sure I'll change it around or whatever. Let's just see. So here's the way to watch horse racing. So we don't have the 4 and the 8, which is actually pretty good because the idea is that these guys are going to be kind of fighting each other. Let's do this. Ready? You want to have some fun? All right, here we go. Now we're rolling here. Okay. So if this 2 is getting a really, really nice trip here, like right on the rail. So, and if he wins, that could be the best one that we're rooting for here. And so that's 46 seconds and 0.62. Those are usually pretty fast fractions. So you would expect someone from behind to come and sweep these guys up here. The 2 has really, really good trip right now, right up that rail. He's looking really decent. Oh, this 5 is coming. Oh my God. Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Where is everybody? Okay, let's go. All right, 2, let's skim the rail. And let's go, 2. Let's get rolling. And who's this, the 3 coming too? Okay. Oh, and look at this, the 3. 3 is excellent. Oh, it's going to be, we think we're going to get it. We got it by a nose, I think. I think we got it by a nose. We're going to watch the replay. I'm pretty sure the 3 got the photo. I'm usually really good at this. I mean, it's definitely a nose, but the 3 definitely got there. We're going to look at the replay. Then we're going to do one more little thing about the DFS. Let's take a look here. This is DGen Saturday in Sheets World. And if we finish this, oh, easy, no problem. At least a hair. Oh, that's a joke. All right.
Hold on, each one tickets in that will be a photograph.
Is that closer than you think? Nah, he's fine. Okay. So let's go back and take a look at this disaster again when we're trying to get Zion in. We like Herder. We really like Herder. Is that what we really want to do? We could try Burks, couldn't we? No, he's 5,400. There you go, Segretti. Oh, 3 got there. 3 totally got there. Kidding. Let's see. JJ Redick is only 3,500. Is that the worst play in the world? Where's Todd? Todd, you got to tell me if that's the worst play in the world. Look at this. This could actually become something. Is there any good forward we could play here? Let's take a look at the forwards again. Liked Ingram better. Back to Oladipo. Back to Aaron Gordon again. No one's telling me that Redick's a bad play. Is he a bad play? The good thing about playing JJ Redick, Todd, is that you don't have to play Eric Bledsoe. He's not even bad. He's like the worst. So what if we played Terrence Ross? But now we have 900 on the table. So now we could get up to Lowry for openers. Still have 600 left. But I kind of like this. Oh, you want to do this? No, you can't. Dude, I got 4 Torontos. I don't want to do this. I can't have 4 Torontos. What am I, a psychopath? Well, maybe I do want 4 Torontos. That'd be so disgusting. Dude, if I can get this to work, this game goes to overtime or some stupid thing like that, that would be nuts. Is there anything I could do better at forward? At 52, like maybe PJ Washington. Terrence Ross, though, he could go crazy in this game, couldn't he? Terrence Ross or Aaron Gordon or PJ Washington? Or move up to, I was going to say Norm Powell, have a 5th Toronto guy. So if I did this and then just don't like any of this stuff. You always go back to Baisley. Gordon still looks hurt. Yeah, so that's, as I was saying before when we first started this, it's just so difficult to make a really good hand-built lineup that you like tonight. But I have to say that if this came in and I didn't have it, I would not be happy with myself. Let's go. Let me go back to look at Aaron Gordon one more time. Aaron Gordon, I have him real. Man, is it really that bad to play Aaron Gordon? Honestly. Ugh. Yesterday, I don't want to play him on a back-to-back. No, he didn't play. Dude, he only played 20 minutes at 1 for 8. He's been so bad. Magic are that bad? All right, whatever. All right, so this is what we're going to do. So check this out. So we are going to, well, he only plays 20 minutes a game, RJ, because he had been hurt. You know, I think that if the situation called for it, I think they would let him play the 30 minutes. So I'm going to keep him in, I think. Again, this is 5 o'clock. There's probably going to be injury news in a half hour, so I'm probably going to have to change all of this stuff. Let me just double check something real quick. Results. It indeed won, and the pick 4 paid $209, which was not bad. So I am probably gonna have to go back and change, but for now, just to show you what I do again. So I put all that in there. So now let me just look at my overall whatchamacallit. This is the way I add it. So let's take a look at the NBA. I thought of that, Todd. So I have right now I have 455s, one 555, which I still don't know if I'm gonna play. 140, and then like a bunch of these 15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some MME building, seriously, just copying out using SaberSim for 4 through 13. So that's 10 whatchamacallit. So that's 10 lineups. This is the way I do it. I mean, again, I already inputted my projections in here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to build 10 lineups, and we're going to set it to this kind of setting, which is going to be really, really variance. We're going to do this. Yeah, Todd, I'm kind of with you, man. I might just take this one out. I agree. I might, you know what I'll do? I'll take that buy-in. I'll just put it in the 55. Yeah, I think that's probably wise. You know, if it wins the 55, then it would have won the 555 anyway. So it's probably the same money. Like that particular lineup is not like a particularly good 555 buy-in lineup anyway. So I think that's a good idea. I'm probably just going to stick that 555 into the 55. But let's just see what this does. We'll put these lineups in. Let's see. You guys, any just rando questions in here? I mean, I think I've been kind of like paying close attention. So, you know, we're going to do football tomorrow. But if you have any wild football questions, I mean, you can certainly ask him here. So Fournier right now is listed as questionable. I don't know if he's playing, but for now, let's just take him out, and then we'll put in the rest. So let's download these. We open this up like this. So these are the 10 kind of lineups I want to insert. And oh, where was I? So let's download this again. I presume you guys know how to do this. So this is like your slate. And then these are the new 10 lineups in the 15 I wanted to put in. So let's put these in over here. So now I got this. And then what I want to do is I'm going to put this thing, like you said, in this 55 instead. So that I can go ahead and kind of take out the 555. You know, just for fun. This is what we're going to do. We're gonna stack this game. That's gonna be our kind of idea. So this is what I like to do. So let's check this out. Let's put this in here. Put this one in here. Actually, that's more of a single entry thing, but that's okay. So then what we're gonna do is then we'll save this whole thing. Okay. We'll go in here. We will change it to this. Then we're gonna go into here. And we're going to go into the 555, and then we're just gonna withdraw the entry. Make sure we did it, and that took. Yeah, I think that was the responsible move, don't you think? I think that's pretty strong. So I'll do a real quick football thing here. Yeah, Chad Henne. There's going to be some chalky running backs, but you know, you can't play everybody. There's going to be a bunch of ties. There's going to be Ty Johnson. There's going to be Ty Montgomery. Then there's going to be Derrick Henry. Then there'll be guys you could stack. I want to look at it a little more after the late injury stuff comes out tomorrow. Yeah, maybe Toronto does that. So like you'll see, by the way. So this is what I'm going to do next. So what I'm going to do at the end, so you see I have like 5 different lineups. Like this lineup appears 5 different times. So now what I could do is just totally like shuffle these around and like just make sure to continue to stack this game, but then continue, but not, you know, not have Gordon every one of them and just kind of like, you know, change my one-offs and things like that. Let me just take one more look at the horse racing, and then we will be done, I think. With Santa Anita went off. Let me just see what we did in Santa Anita. Yeah, so we had that twice, the pick 4, so that wasn't bad. Santa Anita, 1, 2, 7, 8, 1, 2, 4, 3, 5. That was the 1-5. Let's see. Bain's getting into foul trouble. Yeah, 5-1. All right, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Yeah, I very rarely played Derrick Henry. I don't know what I'm gonna do with GPPs tomorrow. I really don't. Ooh, here's one thing I forgot to do. I'm gonna do this now. Ooh, almost forgot. So one last thing I do is I forgot to do my my Yahoo. And what I do with the Yahoo is I put the same. This is cheating a little bit. I'll put the same projections for FanDuel into Yahoo because I really don't have.
Oh, is number 5.
I really don't have a great feel for just straight up Yahoo projections. So we're just gonna cheat. We're gonna put the FanDuel ones in there. I think we only have 9 lineups. Let's just take another look. It's whatever this was here. So this was 9 lineups. I'm gonna build these just straight. Norman Powell or Brandon Powell? You talking about football or basketball? Oh, Brandon Powell's not. Yeah, Norm Powell. Yeah, he smashed the other day when what's his name is out. Siakam for COVID for disciplinary reasons or whatever. He's always, the thing about Powell is he always does have upside. I mean, he always goes really, really fast. Let's put it that way. So here's the there's just gonna be the straight up Yahoo lineups. Again, I don't know why it is, but when I make my own projections and then let SaberSim build the lineups for Yahoo, I mean, I've killed it over there doing that. So let's do this, and then we'll download this. We'll see what these were, and then we'll just replace. And I'm going to do this again before I leave, which is going to be right before lock, just to get to see the process. And then we just do this, and we save, and then we upload here, and then we'll give it a quick look-see to see what it's like. So these look, I guess, okay. Not bad. Nothing looks particularly bananas. So that's really good. Any other questions before I get out of here? Yeah, I would, Eric. I think that I would definitely play Yahoo. You want to know what? I'll give it to you another way. Bobby never plays. You want to know why? Because he's like, I don't have the time, or whatever it is. A lot of people don't do it, and I mean, not that it is coincidence, but I got second for like 50K in a football one on Yahoo. I got second on Christmas on the Yahoo basketball tournament, and I very rarely even play on that many lineups, But yeah, I guess it's really soft because you know what? There's just so much money on DraftKings and FanDuel that all the experts are just pounding away on there. So you may as well. So yeah. Are there any other questions? No? Yeah, I don't know, Eric. I don't know. I just, again, the results are what they are. I just always feel like I'm in contention there. That's the best I could describe it. All right. Any other questions before I go? I guess not. Again, thanks for sweating. Hey, thanks for getting my horse racing home. That was more important than all of this DFS stuff. And Todd, thanks for turning me off and on to some stuff. And thanks everybody for showing. And we'll get there tomorrow. Todd, you got to show up tomorrow.